County line. This is until 9 p.m. for Carroll County, and this, of course, is including that northwestern edge of Baltimore County until 9 p.m. So the storm is located just to the north and really northeast of Westminster. It has a very classic shape to it that is certainly there, but the part that we really look at here is the velocity, and there are winds inside that are showing some broad but still very clear rotation in here. So I'm going to circle this for you right here near Brummel, and that's right there on the Hampstead, Mexico Road near State Highway 27. That is where that circulation is located at this time. Continuing to track off to the east, the overall track doesn't look entirely too fast. That's the good news. But at the same time, a slow-moving storm with this much rain involved with it, too, can not just produce flooding, it can actually obscure the circulation that's in there. So we don't have a report yet of a tornado on the ground. This is radar indicated, and again, that goes until 9 p.m. Those folks that are in the path, Hampstead, you're right there along that path. Brummel, it's right overhead, but you can see some of these locations. So Hampstead would be there, Haletown. We could see this intersecting near Highway 83 here coming soon, but we're not quite there yet. So let me get an actual speed and motion on the storm here soon enough, and we'll be able to get a little bit more on what we expect this storm to do, where it's going to be headed, and who's going to possibly see the biggest impacts. Moving pretty slowly, only about 13 miles an hour. That gives you plenty of time to find shelter. Again, this tornado warning in effect until 9 p.m. I'm going to give a fresh track, and you can see exactly what we're talking about, and give you some communities that could be there. So again, moving 13 miles an hour very slowly. Hampstead, it's right there. I'm going to get some more communities to show up here, and let's see what else we can bring up. One moment. There we go. Many more communities in the path. And many of these are very small communities, of course. And if you are in any of these small communities, two things. One, it may be difficult to spot what's going on. We have to treat this like a tornado is on the ground. This is what happens with these storms. They can obscure what you may be trying to look for. You may not know exactly which direction to look either. But as you can see, Brummel, it's right overhead. Roseville Heights in just the next minute. Green Acres in the next 2 minutes. And that includes Lester Acres, Sylvan Park. And then as we get a little bit further down the path here, that storm could be running into places like Cape Horn South, Snydersburg, not until 8:42, Duncan Hill until 8:43. Again, a few of those communities that are in the path, but not everyone guaranteed to see this storm hit them. Very near Hampstead at 8:52, and that is, you know, a slightly larger community there. So again, the freshest track that we have there. I'm going to go straight to the shear detector, which is our rotation detector, and we'll back this up by just a few minutes, and you'll see as the storm developed, it had some slightly stronger rotation to it, but it was enough that it certainly triggered this tornado warning right there near Brummel, and that occurred just as we ticked into around 8:28, 8:29. And so here we are at 8:36. For the last 5 minutes, the storm is capable of producing a tornado as it continues east at only around 13 miles per hour. So this warning in effect until 9 p.m. Again, northern Baltimore County and really northwestern Baltimore County and northeastern, excuse me, Carroll County. So this is the only storm that we have out there that is truly severe at this time, but we do have other storms that are in our area. That is especially near southern Carroll County, and then moving into parts of Howard County here. And these will be capable of not just tornadoes like we are seeing at this moment, but the potential for some damaging winds. But flooding has been a bigger concern today more than anything, and that is what we are watching very carefully for tonight, as flooding is one of our biggest concerns with how much rain we've already seen. It looks like we have at least one live camera. I'm not sure exactly which direction it's pointing, but it says it's at Maryland Highway 140. And I'll try to see if that is anywhere near where we're looking. If anyone has any further information back in the control room, they might be able to guide me on that. But I'm going to continue to watch on two of them. Okay, west where? Okay, well, this is right there, west Baltimore County line, so very, very near where we're talking about. Looking to the west, I believe, is what my producer Hannah was saying. And again, we're waiting to see if there's any reports of any damage. We don't have that yet. Good news. There is certainly plenty of circulation here, but it's fairly broad right now. That's the good news. We do not have any debris being lofted in the air that I have seen yet, and that's more good news. We'll take a look at that right now, and I'll show you exactly what I'm looking at. The first thing I'm going to show you is where, again, the rotation is, and I'll circle that. And what we do is we have a great tool with our radar now, and this is where that circulation is. If there were to be debris, it would be located in this area. We do not have an area of high reflectivity. We would be looking for something at least that's sort of a yellow and orange right there in the very middle of the circle, right in here. And because we don't have that, what we're missing is that, and we're also missing the fact that we just do not have debris being shown in the air, which would look something like a bright green spot like you see there, but that's located just outside of the area of reflectivity. So these need to co-locate essentially. Inside these areas here, we would need to see a very green area right on top of that, but we don't. So that is good news. No debris being detected. I will say this though, the radar is very far away from this storm. With that, it makes it very hard to detect debris unless it were a strong tornado. So this could essentially still be a weak tornado, and it is not being detected as one. So that's why we have to treat this carefully. The good news, again, as I said, the rotation is there, but it is not extremely strong or extremely focused at this moment. But at any time, it could change, and we're talking by the minute. Okay, so Hampstead, this is moving right over your location at this time. You need to be in a tornado shelter of some sort, and that can count as a basement, a central bathroom away from windows. Just try to put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. Away from windows is important. And here's something else to note. Look at all the traffic that's on the roads. If you know anyone that might be moving down Hanover Pike, moving across Hampstead, Mexico Road, and anyone that may be traveling along 83, northbound, southbound, anywhere between the Pennsylvania border north of Belfast, they should be very aware of this storm. It's going to have that potential to run across 83 in the coming, say 15 to 30 minutes or so, and that could impact them not just with torrential rain, but if this is still a circulation, we don't want them to run into something tornadic unknowingly. So call anyone that's in the areas. Make sure you let them know what's going on. Make sure they can tune in so they can get the latest information that we're bringing to you right now. Again, this is a radar indicated tornado or circulation for this morning, and that means that it's possible that we could be seeing a tornado, but nothing confirmed at this time. Initially, the thunderstorm was located around 7 miles east of Westminster and is moving east at around 10 miles per hour. Again, very slow. But in addition to the tornado, something else to note, inside the storm, you see this area of very dark red and pink. That is the hail core. And inside, we could be talking about hail the size of a quarter. Right now, our Barron radar here is detecting hail about the size that's about ½ inch in diameter. So that's about nickel size, but it is still going to be a strong enough storm that could be capable of doing that. At the very least, you know that the rain inside this storm is going to be torrential. So anyone who may be inside the storm itself, please take that into consideration, knowing that if you tried to look outside, you may not be able to see much. Hampstead may be the only location where you might be able to spot this thing. We have not gotten any reports again. The lightning has just been incredible too. Wow, that's a lot of lightning. Overall, this one storm has produced nearly 300 strikes the last 15 minutes. So that is another part, but torrential rain and then of course the circulation. And hey, some good news. At least the circulation is continuing to show signs of weakening. I'll step this back over the last 5-10 minutes and you'll see where the colors were a little brighter, especially at this point. Now, this is before the tornado warning was even issued, but I'm sure they were considering it. That right there, where the red and the green are very close together. Remember, this is green towards the radar, and this is red away from the radar, and that's why you have that as a circulation in there. So this is the small circulation rotating inside the storm, and that's what triggered this tornado warning. Immediately, the Weather Service saw that, and of course, they said we need to warn this with that possibility, but overall, you can see how it has weakened. Where it was bright, where the circulation was concentrated, and now it is weaker over the last 20 minutes or so. It has actually gone down. So this is very good news for those in Hampstead, but we are going to stay with this until that warning is either expired or been canceled. So for the time being, this is still in effect. For the next 16, 17 minutes, we have to stay with this unless they decide to cancel it. But for now, still in effect. This is, again, up here towards Carroll County, northern Baltimore County, in that circulation right over Hampstead at this time. We're going to take a look and see if there is anything showing up in the hail detector. It doesn't look like it. This atmosphere today has not been necessarily one that has been, again, a high producer of anything other than really rain. We have not had any tornadoes produced today. The atmosphere is not super conducive for this sort of thing, but a quick spin up like this is always possible. This time of the year, when you have this much humidity, it's easier for a storm to try to wrap itself up in a very short amount of time. So we always have to be on guard looking for something like that. But the rest of the storms right now are not looking quite that way. And you can see the difference here. While some of them might have a bit of a shape that may be kind of similar, like this one's got a bit of a curve to it, we're looking for some that are a little bit more of this shape to it, where it's got this easily shaped protrusion. This is a classic supercell, we call this. And a classic supercell has certainly potential to produce tornadoes, but it's not guaranteed. But I'm still looking at multiple radars right now as well to see if we can watch if the circulation is going to continue to weaken, which would be great. But in the meantime, we're still going to stay with this tornado warning until it is canceled again. Take your precautions. It's better to be safe. There's no shame in getting into cover. It's always better to be safe than sorry. And the best places, again, Hampstead, these precautions are especially for you. That's where the circulation would be. Archbow Valley, of course, too. Anywhere inside this polygon, we should really take it and be careful about it. So take your tornado precautions inside a basement if you have it, inside an interior hallway, interior bathroom. You can bring things to shield yourself from anything that could be flying debris. Usually tornadoes of this magnitude, if they are this weak, which is apparently, if there is one on the ground, it would be very weak. Otherwise, I would see a much stronger circulation. But a weak tornado typically will break windows and peel back portions of roofs. And of course, it'll throw items into homes, such as tree branches and things like that. So as long as you're away from windows, you're already protected quite a bit. But you can also bring things into the bathroom to protect yourself, blankets, coats. Put your shoes on. That's nothing terrible. If you do happen to have broken windows, walking in on broken glass is not a bad, not a good thing. You want to make sure you have your feet protected. I'm seeing a lot of traffic on the roads there. Of course, some flashers. The torrential rain is going to be an issue tonight. And overall, still some good news. The circulation continues to weaken, but it is directly over Hampstead and moving very, very slowly. I'll put this in motion for everyone to see. Again, not something we like to have to deal with on any day, and we will continue to follow this in order to give you the best information possible. For anyone who is south of there, nothing to be too concerned about at this time. I'm still watching the storm that's headed in towards Cockeysville. Cockeysville, you're about to get hit with some very heavy rain as it's already hitting Reisterstown. But this storm is the only one showing any real signs of circulation with the winds. And I want to also add that even if there's not a tornado, it does look like there is some stronger winds within it. But the radar is having a little bit of a hard time seeing this storm because it is so far away, almost out of its range. And that makes it difficult to really get a good idea of what's going on inside. So other storms that are out there. Again, we're going to do this larger loop here, just to give you an idea of all the storms that are out there. There have been a few hail reports today over by Charlestown, some damage from other storms, but as these storms approach, our biggest threat, of course, tonight is going to be with flooding, which everyone should pay attention to. Wow, this is some very, very heavy rain happening back towards Woodsboro, Walkersville, Crampton area, and even up here towards Patapsco. This is that kind of rain that you don't want to be caught driving in. It will absolutely blind you and could lead to flooding in a matter of 20 to 30 minutes. In these kinds of areas, lots of hilly terrain and saturated soil altogether. So the latest, 8:47, we still have to deal with this tornado warning unless they cancel it, but that's until 9 p.m. We have another 12 minutes to go, 12 to 13 minutes, and still a very slow moving storm, but the data continuing to at least indicate that it is weakening. You can see that on the rotation detector. I'll put it in motion, you'll see it. Even though it was a fairly weak detection at first with rotation, you can see over time that rotation just weakening slowly just by the rotation detector. But on velocity, where we have to really look very analytically at these things, it continues to show more of that as well. Some amazingly heavy rain. That's I-83, Maryland 439. Not exactly sure what exit that is. We're very far north. Okay, so that is likely, if that's between Cockeysville and Sparks, or is it even further north near the border? Okay, so what we're seeing there is that in very heavy rain, I'll even circle it for you. This is I-83. It's this heavy rain up here, and it's about to get a lot worse for drivers on 83. And if this storm even is to no longer produce a circulation, this heavy rain is going to continue to move in, and that's going to be blinding for everyone here. So it's moving very slowly. Oh, I disappeared there. Let me see if I can get that back on. Let me know when the key wall is hot again, guys. We continue to see this storm tracking to the east, and as it does, what we'll see is, again, this area of heavier rainfall, but the very intense stuff is what's inside this polygon here. And then right here is that tornadic circulation. So it's kind of going to happen in sequence here. If you're anywhere near 83, it's going to be light to moderate rain. Now it's moderate rain. Then it will be very heavy rain. Then in torrential rain. And right after that, we could be talking about that tornadic circulation moving in. But this is the only polygon that we have out there that is a tornado warning. You can see all the lightning going on behind me. There is a ton of that as well. So it is going to still be a strong storm regardless. You could still have winds gusting 50 miles per hour. All right, here's some video we got out of Reisterstown. Looks like some lightning strikes that have occurred in the area. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of that. Let's go over and take a quick peek at what's going on at Reisterstown. So right there, they're in the middle of this storm, which is, of course, a very, very strong storm with tons of rain, tons of lightning. Overall, again, these two storms combined, it's about, again, around 300 strikes every 15 minutes. So these are very electrical storms tonight. But they're very, very good rain producers more than anything. The atmosphere today and in the days past, if you haven't noticed, of course you've noticed, they have been incredibly just chock full of moisture. Near the ground, we've got a ton of it, but all the way up, we have a ton of it. Goodness, I'm seeing something at the lower part of the screen there. Not sure if that is just some low clouds or fog. That was interesting looking. I don't know if we can take that full I-83 at 439, if that can be taken full. I'm interested in seeing what's going on there. Yeah, that's at the very least some just very torrential rain. I'm not sure how high up this camera is, but goodness, that is hard to see going down I-83. So at the very least, that could be sheets of rain. It could be some very low fog or cloud cover. Wanted to make sure it wasn't anything else. So still watching the radars here, and they're difficult to really pinpoint how the storm is doing with them being pointed so high. Remember, the Earth is curved. The radar beam that's shooting into the storm is straight, and that means that much of the radar beam is missing the most important part of the storm near the ground. And because it's missing that, we are not getting a great idea of what's going on at ground level, which is why spotters are so helpful, and sometimes just having more radars is more helpful because they'll be closer to the storm. So we are not getting the best look in this storm, but there is still enough rotation there that we can see that we have to continue to watch this carefully, of course, but that warning still continues. The circulation hasn't hardly moved. We're going to back it up a few minutes and you'll see what I mean. So the circulation at 8:40 was just to the west of Hampstead, and here we are at 8:52, and it is now pretty much moving overhead, but it is a very weak circulation still. I'll circle it for you one more time. This is that area of rotation that we're looking at where the greens and the reds are nearby. The greens are winds moving towards the radar in that direction, and the reds are moving away. So as you can get it, that's what a circulation would do in that area. It would be rotating in that vicinity. Relatively speaking, again, the storm is moving very slow. The winds inside could be stronger than what the radar is trying to indicate here. In addition to the torrential rain, you may be dealing with winds 40, 50, 60 miles per hour. And these pinks indicating extremely heavy precipitation. And we're not exactly in an environment that is really super conducive for large hail. The environment above our head is a very moist environment, but also very warm. We don't have quite the cold and dry air aloft to be a huge hail producer. So what we are definitely seeing is, at the very least, that very torrential rain where you see those pink colors in there, those magentas. And that's where it would be a practical whiteout. So a lot of folks driving on these roads, again, it is advised that you're not. And if you can avoid being on any of these roads right now, it's just better to try to find a way to pull over anywhere safely. That does not include under a bridge or overpass. Please take note. That is a very dangerous place to be, especially when the rain is pouring. People may have a very hard time spotting you, and they may think you're just a car in front of them. Flashers or no flashers, do not park under a bridge or overpass. That is not suitable shelter. Neither is a car specifically. You want to find much better. Gosh, the lightning is really going. I know these are powerful storms again tonight, and we will have likely more of them to deal with again tomorrow. So there is going to be a lot more activity to come. I'm hoping that we can at least avoid some more of this severe weather. Again, today's threat was very, very low for tornadoes, but as you can see, not zero. All right, the latest radar update just came in. That's good. And I'm not seeing a whole lot of intensification at all, actually. It is looking meager, so this is good. The other thing, storms tend to be stronger when they have sort of the air to themselves. And as you can see, the storm to the south is intersecting it and sort of colliding with it. That tends to cut the storm's energy off. Gardeners would know exactly what I'm talking about. You put too many plants in the garden, they struggle and they don't perform well. When they're all by themselves, they have all the energy of the sun and the soil to itself, and they can grow big and strong. Storms are actually very similar to that. And when it was by itself, you see how much stronger this storm was. And then it began to weaken, and pretty soon, this storm will likely cut it off and prevent it from getting much stronger soon enough. So this storm is going to at least have an end to its tornado-producing capabilities soon enough. That is the good news. But the rain is not going anywhere, unfortunately. That is going to continue to be very intense. Rotation detector showing nothing. Great news. The tornado warning is still in effect for another 5 minutes officially, so we still have to treat it like there could be something going on, especially for you folks in Hampstead. I will be a little bit surprised if it makes it all the way to 83 as a tornado-warned storm. I would expect that most likely this will be allowed to expire or be canceled here soon. So just another 5 minutes. Bear with us here while we hold this together. We want everyone to be safe. And whether this is your area or not, if it was your area, we definitely would want to cover this and be very certain that everyone is aware of what's going on out there. So storms tonight have still yet to make their way completely into the Baltimore area. They have lagged behind a little bit, but we still expect that to occur. So for everyone else who are still awaiting their arrival, it's been several hours since we've seen that, but they're continuing to grow in at least their strength for producing precipitation, very heavy rain. So we could be talking about a flash flood threat as we move in through the next hour or two. Flash flood watches are still in effect until midnight for all of central Maryland and western Maryland. And these storms will be capable of producing, as you can see, very torrential rain in a short amount of time, which could lead to some flash flooding in areas. But we have not had any reports of that yet, but this could begin. And then Baltimore City, you will be getting some very heavy rain here. Soon enough, I'll put this in motion again, and you'll see again the overall timing. It's not going to be but maybe in the next hour to hour and a half as they approach. They're moving through Howard County and will be moving into the rest of Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County here in just the next hour or less. We'll see that moving into Harford County soon enough as well, too. More storms going on to the west of D.C., so this is still an active night. We knew that we were going to have that threat for more storms. The question is whether are they going to move through quick enough to where flash flooding would be avoided or not. And right now, we're just trying to avoid anything tornadic, and that's what we're hoping. And thankfully, it continues to show that on all the radar information that I'm seeing. The storm continues to weaken. So Hampstead, still stay in your safe places for now. Same for Trenton, Albintown, all the way to Forreston and Haletown, but I suspect that it will not make it outside of this polygon, which you need to respect the polygon, as the famous James Spann says. It's something that everyone should pay close attention to and not take this lightly. You want to pay attention to that, whether it's tornado warning or a flash flood warning. Do what you can to protect your families and yourself. Everyone wants to be on the safe side. But overall, this is at least slowly becoming better news as I'm watching the scan minute by minute as they come in. And again, that storm's getting cut off soon enough from its source of energy. And this is what I'll illustrate for you now. The storm is a sort of a living, breathing monster. It feeds in from warm, moist air like this, and that's where you get the rotation on the backside here. And when that source of warm, moist air is cut off from other storms like this one, it is essentially ingesting no more energy. Okay, so here's something new to pass along. The tornado warning did not get extended. That's good, but now there is a severe thunderstorm warning that has now been issued, which does include Baltimore County, Hampstead, Allentown. So the storm is very powerful over near Haletown, especially, where very heavy rain is falling and possibly some damaging winds. I'm going to read more on this severe thunderstorm warning, but that is in effect until 9:30. Still waiting for some updates to come in, but the severe thunderstorm warning will likely replace this tornado warning until 9:30. So everyone across the county line after Hampstead, while the tornado threat seems to be going down, for at least that storm for now, I'm hoping to not see a new circulation form on this storm, but at the very least, you may be seeing damaging winds from Forrestown down to Coopersville, and of course, just absolutely torrential rain, which is going to continue to fall for at least the next 15 minutes. And that is still yet to really hit 83. I see a lot of traffic on 83 here. It is, that looks like I-795, Cockeysville. So that's very near the 83 junction over here, if that's 795. Okay, so there we go. The tornado warning, thankfully, has expired. It is now 9 p.m. We do still have the severe thunderstorm warning for Forreston. Luckily, it does not look like we have seen any reports of any damage or any confirmation of a tornado touchdown. So that's the good news. I believe we have Storm Tracker out there, and they'll be out there watching this very carefully too. But we will continue to watch this activity very carefully. We still have that flood threat until midnight tonight. So we'll return you back to regular programming, but of course, we'll keep you advised right here at Fox 45, your weather authority.